One of the ways that we can be sure that a teacher in fiction is giving good advice is that those who follow it have things work out in the end, and those that do not follow it have things fall apart in the end. It's not the only way that a storyteller has to tell us that a teacher was right, but it is one valuable tool in the storyteller's tool belt. There's also a valuable discussion to be had about how realistic that is. Even if it's not realistic, it's how we interpret stories anyway. That's one of the clues that Yoda gave Luke good advice when he advised him not to pursue his friends to the Cloud City when they were in danger. Even though he does manage to rescue Leia, Han Solo is frozen in carbonite, and Luke loses his duel with Vader and narrowly escapes with his faith barely intact and his body badly injured. In the story, Yoda gives good advice because he is connected to the living force. He is able to see which course will lead to prosperity and peace for all, and which will lead to ruin and pain. When Yoda speaks, he speaks for the Force. Those who know Yoda know that this is true about him as well. No one questions Yoda's advice because they know that he is deeply rooted in the living Force. It's exactly that attribute that means the Empire wants him dead. The Emperor doesn't want someone that can tell people the path to prosperity and peace if that path will interfere with his own pursuit of power. What if they have it backwards, though? What if the writing process at Lucasfilm is to have Yoda's opinion settled by some random process, but then the storytellers will manipulate the story such that whatever advice Yoda gave was right? If the roll of the dice that day had resulted in Yoda telling Luke to go rescue his friends, then it would have been Vader that was running scared and confused at the end of the movie instead of the rebellious youth. To put it another way, within the Star Wars universe, what if instead of Yoda saying it because it's right because Yoda said it? There is an ancient paradox about God called the Euthyphro dilemma that gets to exactly this question about God. To summarize the question briefly, is something good because God commands it? Or does God command it because it's good? There are a lot of really good answers to this. My favorite answer is that it's like a magnet. Does the magnet attract metal because it's magnetic? Or is it magnetic because it attracts metal? Both. Being magnetic is attracting metal. Ultimately, I don't think it matters, though. Some people have a vision of God that makes the answer that God simply orders what is good. For these, God is the most powerful agent, and it's a good thing he turned out to be just. For others, God decided what's good and bad, and rewards and punishes according to his whim. Still others like myself see God as something more akin to the magnetic field, and goodness and evil are just strong and weak points in that field. On an entirely practical level, how you respond to good commands is still the same. You obey them.